rather have a berry of mama. But since it was Andy, I thought, oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. We go to the theater. Andy was already sick at this time. I knew he was sick. He knew I knew he was sick, but it wasn't addressed. So it was a little rough. I think it was the Pantages in LA. And he'd walk very slowly. He said, oh, babe, tiny steps. That's how we do it in California, tiny steps. He'd been a New Yorker his whole life. And California was just like the promised land to Andy. I'd never seen him so happy. So we get in, and he's telling me all about when the theater was built and how the drapes didn't hang on the bias, all this crap I don't know anything about, but Andy knew every detail. And it begins, and of course Rigby as Pan is talking about flying and the great adventure. And Andy starts to weep. I mean, he's shaking. Now this was a matinee, so there were a lot of kids in the theater, right? And they were making a little noise, rustling candy. And he's crying. He hears something, like a bat. He stands up very quickly and screams, "You bitches don't know anything about raising children! Fucking cunts!" I'll let that sink in. He sits back down. 5 rows back, no one moved for the rest of the play. And he started crying again. After that show, he said, "Babe, I got AIDS. I'm dying." And he proceeded to tell me how he wanted the rest of his life to play out. So being around Andy was one of the great dramas of my life. Now, you could say, the sound on his movies was shit. The budget was shit. There were exposition problems everywhere. In this movie, you'll see one of the characters died. He had not the resources or even the interest to show the death. It just sort of happens, and you buy it because it's Andy. And yet, there's something going on in an Andy movie that happens nowhere else. He had a very personal tale to tell, and it wasn't a pretty one. Family dysfunction to the max. Mother hatred. Total misanthropy. This was Andy. There were also odd moments of kindness. And it was shoveled into these 40-second, $1.98 42nd Street movies. And these guys, believe you me, they didn't give a shit about Andy. They just knew that he could put images on a film strip with sprocket holes and they could sell it. So you're in for a real treat. The first movie, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, starring the wonderful Natalie Rogers. Are you here, Natalie? You're somewhere here. There she is, star of the show. Take a bow, Natalie. This movie is a tour de force for Natalie. And also, one of her leading men are here, Peter Rattray. Peter, where are you? The great Peter Rattray. This is the first time these two have seen each other, I think, since the making of the film, right?
Yes.
And I'm hoping, maybe they'll do an OnlyFans or a denture me. And then we have the Degenerates. And Kiss Me is an odd one. It's not really a typical Andy movie, I have to warn you. The script is by a friend of his, so it doesn't have the level of bile, distaste, personal revulsion that I tend to love. Now, The Degenerates is a different story. This is Andy's only science fiction film. It's set in the woods in upstate New York. Andy should never be in the woods. It's just not right. And it has all the things I crave in an Andy movie. And it's post-apocalyptic, although it looks like 1956. And Andy made the costumes, these skimpy burlap dresses. Andy was also a dressmaker. He made all the costumes in his films. These films are a one-man band. As I've said before, he was sort of like the Grand Mimosas of the Grindhouse. Because they're so personal. You see a lot of names in the credit, they're all Andy. Joy Gogan, Gerald Jackson. These people don't exist. It was Andy. And we have two of the stars of the movie with us. Laura Shane Cunningham, who went on to be an internationally famous author, and I'm just getting at the top of her resume is not, I was an actress for Andy Miller. Just a hunch. You'll be seeing her in the film. And then finally, last but not least, Hope Stansbury, who makes an indelible impression in the movie, is with us tonight. Hope wrote Andy's landmark, really his first film of note, Vapors, all set in a bathhouse. She was in a number of Andy's films. Where are you, Hope? Please,
I'm here.
Stand up and take it. Was more important to Andy than Hope. We also, Jerry Jacuzzo is here somewhere. Can Jerry wave? And I don't know if you guys know Torture Dungeon, but he is indelible in that. And as I say in the documentary, Scorsese had De Niro, Milligan had Jerry Jacuzzo. And he is a remarkable actor. He has a bit part in Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. So it's just fantastic to have all these people here. And then I have a gift that I have to give somebody. This cracks me up, I'm sorry. Did any of you see the documentary?
Yes.
Okay. There's a guy in it, Alex DeSanto.
Oh.
This fucking guy knows more about Andy Milligan than Andy Milligan did. It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
And I was going through my stuff. You see these horrible looking boots. They're worn. They look like an Andy Milligan movie. They're worn to the max. Andy gave me these boots.
Oh.
And I'll tell you a funny story. I wore them for like, I don't know, 15 years.
Wow.
Many years after Andy's death. He never wanted me to investigate his childhood. That was the one thing that was off. No, babe, not gonna do it. You're not gonna get it out of me, babe. I don't know if that was the night he called me a flesh-peddling whore, but it might have been. Anyway, I went back to where Andy came from and found some shocking shit out, which, by the way, shameless plug, all in this book, the ghastly one. Much more valuable than a Trump Bible. Check it out. Okay, I'm in St. Paul wearing these boots, approaching his childhood home. The heel broke off the fucking boot and I planted my face in the concrete. And I thought, wow, Andy didn't want me to come here. So these boots are now gonna haunt Alex. And they can kill you, not me. There you go, Bob. There's a certificate of authenticity that I drew myself that you'll get. Okay. One more guest I want. Is Rudolph Gray here? Oh, he didn't make it. I invited the guy who wrote the great Ed Wood biography. Oh, there he is! Holy shit, I haven't seen this guy yet. The great musician, the great writer. He wrote the Ed Wood book, Nightmare of Ecstasy. Yeah. One of my favorite people, Stand up, Rudolph. Take a bow. I think I've yacked enough, certainly, to punish you all. I hope you enjoy this experience. Again, Kiss Me is one thing. Degenerates is another. Different colors on the Andy Milligan palette, if you will. And I hope you dig them. Thank you all for coming.